Today we are going to talk about atopic dermatitis, eczema, a chronic inflammatory IgE-mediated skin disorder driven by a fundamentally broken skin barrier. Atopic dermatitis is defined as a chronic inflammatory allergic skin disorder. It affects approximately 7% of the U.S. adult population. That is millions of patients you will encounter across every care setting. The critical clinical concept here is the systemic triad. Atopic dermatitis does not exist in isolation. It clusters powerfully with asthma, allergic rhinitis, and food allergies. When you identify one, you must screen for the others. This is not a localized skin problem. It is a systemic inflammatory state. Here is the core pathophysiology and the most important concept in this entire lecture. The skin barrier in atopic dermatitis is defective. The filaggrin gene defect, located on chromosome 1q21.3, disrupts the structural proteins that hold the skin's outer layer together. The result is a leaky barrier. Two consequences happen simultaneously. Transepidermal water loss drives extreme dryness, and the compromised barrier allows allergens, bacteria, and environmental triggers to breach the surface and drive IgE-mediated type 1 hypersensitivity reactions. This is why moisturization is not optional. It is the primary therapeutic intervention addressing the root defect. Three categories of triggers all converge on the same vulnerable target: the defective skin barrier. Biological triggers include dust mites, pollen, dander, and bacteria. Staphylococcus aureus colonizes damaged atopic skin and actively worsens inflammation. Chemical triggers are soaps, harsh detergents, solvents, fragrances, and nickel. All strip the already deficient barrier further. Physical and behavioral triggers include excessive bathing without immediate moisturization afterward, which is enormous, low humidity environments that accelerate transepidermal water loss, and overheating. Your patient education must address all three categories. The itch-scratch cycle is the engine that drives chronic disease progression in atopic dermatitis. Step 1. IgE-mediated. Type 1 hypersensitivity triggers severe pruritus, not mild itching, severe pruritus that is often worst at night. Step 2. The patient scratches. It is involuntary and often happens during sleep. Step 3. Scratching causes mechanical barrier destruction, producing excoriations, fissuring, and lichenification. Step 4. The broken barrier invites more allergens and bacteria in, triggering more IgE release and more inflammation. The cycle feeds itself. Lesions may exist at multiple stages simultaneously on the same patient. Early papules next to active excoriations next to chronic lichenification. Do not be confused by mixed lesion morphology. Clinical presentation maps directly to the stage of the itch-scratch cycle. Early phase, papules, raised, red bumps from the initial inflammatory response. Active trauma phase, excoriations from scratching and fissuring from barrier cracking under the mechanical stress. Chronic phase, lichenification, that leathery, thickened skin texture that forms from prolonged repetitive scratching. Distribution matters. Hands, wrists, elbows, knees, ankles, face, and neck are the classic sites. Diagnosis is primarily clinical. History, lesion morphology, and distribution. Additional testing, labs, patch testing, skin biopsy is only added when the clinical picture is unclear. The Atopic March is the natural disease progression of atopic disease, and understanding it changes how you care for your atopic dermatitis patient. It starts with atopic dermatitis, the foundational barrier breach. From there, sensitized immune system progresses to food allergy, then asthma, then allergic rhinitis. The driving forces are genetic predisposition, environmental exposures, ongoing skin barrier defects, and immune dysregulation. This is not inevitable for every patient, but it is a documented progression pattern. Your job is to aggressively manage atopic dermatitis early, because inadequate control of the skin barrier may be fueling the march toward asthma. That connection between skin disease and airway disease is clinically significant. Management is tiered based on severity, but foundational care never stops regardless of tier. At the base, trigger avoidance and rigorous skin hydration. These are always in play. For mild to moderate disease, you step up to topical corticosteroids and topical calcineurin inhibitors. For severe or refractory disease, systemic corticosteroids in short courses and biologics are added. The key principle: As you escalate up the pyramid, you never abandon the foundation. A patient on dupilumab still needs daily emollients and trigger avoidance. Removing foundational care at any tier will undermine everything above it. Topical corticosteroids are the mainstay. Mild OTC for simple cases, stronger agents like fluocinolone, triamcinolone, and betamethasone for moderate disease. The exam trap: do not apply potent topical steroids to the face. Risk of skin thinning and streaky eye. Topical calcineurin inhibitors, tacrolimus and pimecrolimus, are the preferred agents for facial lesions because they do not cause skin atrophy. Systemic corticosteroids, short courses only for severe flare-ups. Prolonged use carries significant systemic risk. Dupilumab is a biologic that blocks both IL-4 and IL-13 receptors, indicated for moderate to severe disease, not controlled by topicals. It directly targets the inflammatory cytokine pathway, driving atopic dermatitis. Antibiotics, only when secondary Staph aureus infection is confirmed. Purulence and honey-colored crusts are your visual indicators. 3 nursing interventions, all targeting the leaky barrier from different angles: aggressive hydration, baths or showers with mild soap followed immediately, within 3 minutes, by thick emollient application. That immediate application is the critical step. The emollient traps the moisture absorbed during bathing before transepidermal water loss can reverse it. The emollient must contain glycerol or urea. Thin lotions are not sufficient. Environmental and lifestyle modifications: cotton clothing only. Synthetic fabrics trap heat and sweat, worsening pruritus. Mild detergents free of fragrances and dyes. Humidifiers to counteract low humidity triggers. Pruritus management: diphenhydramine for itching. Best given at bedtime specifically because its sedating side effect helps break the nocturnal itch-scratch cycle, the hours when scratching does the most damage. 3 non-negotiable patient education imperatives. First, superinfection monitoring. Teach your patient and their family the specific visual signs of secondary Staphylococcus aureus infection. Purulence and honey-colored crusts over excoriated areas. These are the triggers for antibiotic therapy. Without this education, patients either miss infections or incorrectly seek antibiotics for non-infected flares. Second, pharmacological vigilance. Corticosteroid side effects must be explicitly taught. Long-term topical steroid use causes skin thinning, striae, and altered pigmentation. Your patient needs to know this, especially regarding facial application. Third, preventive routine integration. The emollient application immediately after bathing must become automatic and acknowledge the psychological burden. Atopic dermatitis is visible, chronic, and socially stigmatizing. Patients and families need emotional support alongside clinical management. This slide captures the fundamental principle of atopic dermatitis management. Medical management and nursing management are interlocking gears. Neither works without the other. Medical management suppresses the immune fire. Corticosteroids and dupilumab target the IL-4/IL-13 inflammatory cascade. Nursing management rebuilds the physical barrier: emollients, trigger avoidance, lifestyle modification. If your patient is on dupilumab but stops applying emollients, the barrier remains defective and the cycle restarts. If your patient applies emollients religiously, but the immune response is uncontrolled, the itch-scratch cycle continues. Both gears must turn together to break the cycle and interrupt the atopic march. This summary pulls everything together. The filaggrin gene defect creates the leaky barrier. Moisture out, triggers in. The itch-scratch cycle converts inflammation into progressive structural skin damage. The atopic march shows where inadequate control leads. Your integrated management response addresses all 3. The hydration rule breaks the dryness cycle. Targeted topical therapy applies the right agent to the right location. Corticosteroids for the body. Calcineurin inhibitors for the face. And environmental control reduces the trigger load on an already vulnerable barrier. Manage the skin, interrupt the cycle, and you give your patient the best chance of halting the march.